What's happening? This is 9/11, and you are tuned in to AVG Podcast. As always, man, you know how we do it. Let's get to it. So tonight, I got recording artist, singer, slash model, the lovely Demi Grace in the show with her presence tonight. How you doing tonight, Grip? You see what I did there?
I did.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
That's good. I know you had a long...
Doing?
I'm good. Excited about having you on. You know, I've been following you for a while, ever since the Twitter days, was back in the day. As soon as I heard the sound, I was a fan. So I'm excited to have you on tonight. I'm glad you had a chance to make a little room in your busy and book schedule for me tonight.
No, I appreciate you.
That's what's up. So just how we get started, just a quick introduction. Like, how did you get started in the music industry? Tell us how it all started in the beginning with early Demi Grace.
In the music industry, so that basically means, like, when did it become professional, right?
Oh, when did you start? When did you develop your love for it? Because before it comes professional, it has to be a passion first. You just don't get to professional. So how did you develop your love for it?
Well, I've had music all my life. So when I was 3, I was living in London with my sisters and my parents. And they put us in choirs and, you know, and all that good stuff. So music has been a part of my life forever. From choirs to school talent shows to, you know, that was my outlet along with like basketball and just different clubs. But like music has always been my outlet. When it became professional I was about, I was in college and I remember releasing like cover songs on SoundCloud. You know, the good old days when SoundCloud was like, you know.
Yeah, that was hot when you released stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah. So like I would release covers on SoundCloud, and then I was living in LA at the time, so you know the market in LA is very competitive, and so I used to just sit in writing sessions. I met a producer at an audition that I had for modeling, and he said he was a songwriter in LA, so. He asked me to sing right on the spot, and like, oh my God, if someone would ask me that nowadays, I'd be like, now look.
Right now?
But, you know, he asked me to sing right on the spot, and I was in a phase in my life where I had something just right there, you know what I'm saying, just in case anybody would ask, and he was like, all right, come to the session. And so I think that's where the professional journey started, was just sitting in on writing sessions in LA. I sat in on sessions for Ray J. I sat in on sessions at the time. Rihanna. Everybody was trying to get placed with Rihanna. So
yeah.
A lot of the songwriting direction was with her in mind. And even though I was in those rooms to learn and to study and to grow as an artist, I definitely did not want to be just a songwriter, because I saw how other songwriters kind of lost their own sound because they were just so interested in being in being placed. But that's where the professional journey started, and that eventually led to like a small record deal, and that whole song and dance. But that's where it started.
Okay, so saying that though, so you say you were in the room with the songwriter, so you write your own pieces, you do all your own writing and stuff yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, now that part I didn't know. I didn't know you were actually penning the music as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's a good, and this is a little, I don't know, this might be controversial to say, or I don't know, cringe to say, whatever they're saying nowadays, but like, it's almost a good thing if you don't know that I write my music, because I have a younger cousin that put it perfectly, because I asked him, I said, why are people so impressed by like singers that don't write their own music?
Yeah.
And he was like, because they create jobs. And I was like,
that's facts.
You got a point.
That's facts. That's fact. I'm gonna tell you a flip side though, to me, because like you say, back in the day, everybody was doing music. I did music. Me and my cousin had a rap group. We did stuff too. So, but to me, when you're writing your own stuff, the feeling of, now there's some artists that can translate what's on paper and produce that feeling and give whatever that songwriter was feeling or going after in that time. But to me, when you have a more personal relationship with the song as the songwriter, to me that song comes from a totally different place, feeling wise.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So I guess that's why I was like, that's a good thing, that you don't know that I write my own music, because it almost seems more glamorous to
feel like you have a ghostwriter or something.
For a singer, especially rappers, it's very different.
Yeah.
You better be writing your own songs.
You better
be a rapper.
Yeah.
But for singers, it's so glamorized to the point where there's almost like artistic liberty that's taken out of being a singer, especially nowadays, if you're leaning more towards pop music. So it's almost a good thing if you can't tell that I write my own songs.
Yeah, it is. And you did say too, when you first mentioned early on, that you out in LA doing the modeling thing. So did the modeling come first, or was this always something you kind of took on, the modeling and singing together, or would it one kind of bring forth the other?
So I mentioned I was playing basketball in high school.
So you a hooper?
And yeah.
What? I didn't know that. So hold on, before we get into that, then, what you think about the new wave? Because I don't know, like, at the time frame you did play, but was the craze and, like, did you see the fandom that surrounded women's basketball like it is now? Yeah. Like, what do you feel about that? Just real quick on that.
I did. I feel like I just posted something on maybe I didn't post it today, but I was going to post something on my YouTube today about, how, like, WNBA stars were getting so much love at a certain time that they were doing cameos on sitcoms, and they were like, they were really getting love.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what happened. So basically what happened with me is I was on track to play college ball and, do that entire route.
So you a real athlete.
Yeah, I'm real athlete.
I'm learning some stuff tonight. Go ahead, cook, Demi.
But my childhood dream, and I know when you're in high school you're still a child, but like my childhood dream was music. And I have no family connection to the entertainment industry, or I didn't at the time. Now my sister's an actress, and my mom has since revealed that she was in radio in Nigeria when she was younger. So, but at the time I didn't know that we had any connections in entertainment. So I was like, all right, I could go the basketball route. And the way my body is I respond to muscle memory very easily. So gotcha. It would be very difficult to stray from the athlete. Like even now that I haven't worked out intensely in months, I still look like an athlete because my muscle memory is really strong. So I was like, all right, if I go the athlete route, I'm going to look like just an athlete. And I'm going to be kind of like typecast as just an athlete. If I go the modeling route, I have a little bit more to play with, and I can make connections in the entertainment industry.
Gotcha.
So that's where modeling came from. And I could figure out how to kind of carry myself in these rooms, because all models know how to carry themselves in rooms. So,
yeah.
So that's why I put basketball kind of on the back burner and went into modeling.
Okay. What position did you play?
So I was shooting guard.
So you got a shot.
And forward. And center if the center was sick.
Oh,
and point guard if the point guard was sick.
Hold on. This has never been disclosed on none of your social medias.
No, it has not.
So we're getting exclusive behind the scenes, Demi, tonight.
Yes, you are.
Look, I'm already shocked. I did not know none of this. I didn't know the athletic side. All I knew was the creative side.
Well, so I don't talk about it because growing up, there was such a stigma around being tough and being a dark-skinned girl. So
Gotcha.
When I decided, all right, I don't want to play no more, I kind of just distanced myself from that entire image to be more marketable, I guess.
I got you. I know exactly what you're saying. We all know about how the colorism goes and how we could branch off into a whole nother scenario that just how the industry goes and how, especially in the time frame like we were coming up in and what was being pushed to the forefront, what was kind of hidden in the back. So I know exactly where you're going with it. But it's just interesting to know that you had that background, because I did not know you had that in your bag. Like, I'm totally shocked right now. You took the interview somewhere I didn't even know we were going tonight. I didn't know we were gonna have a little sports segment.
Yeah, depending on what you ask, it'll come out.
Yeah. So look, you started off now. I know about the New York side. I didn't know you started off on the West Coast. So how is life, like you said, when you were doing the modeling and the acting? Because you hear about like the competitive nature it is out there, because everybody, they go out there, even if they're not from there, they're coming there, they pursue their dreams, and you got the big lights there. Of course, it's still the Big Apple. So on that side of the coast, you're dealing with the same thing. But how competitive was it as far as like the modeling, the acting, the singing, just everything out there in LA, being that that's one of the other major hubs for that?
So when I started modeling in LA, it was very like anti-Black. So I had a tough time in LA finding an agent. But I did finally, I took all my no's with honor, and I finally found, an agent. And my first modeling job was for Chevy. Yeah, that's funny. Right? Yeah. Chevy. I remember they paired me with another. Ironically enough, the photo shoot was with a model who was also a songwriter.
Wow.
So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know if they did that on purpose. Anyway, but LA was tough for me. When I first came out to New York, my older sister was living in New York, and I would just come and visit her, and I just really liked how Black women were allowed to be Black women in New York, basically. Like in LA, it's probably a lot different now. I haven't lived there in a while, but at the time when I was living in LA, it's not that you weren't allowed to be Black. It's just that you had to be a certain type of Black.
You had to be the safe Black.
Yeah, you had to be the safe Black to kind of get anywhere, especially in modeling. So it was a little bit tougher for me in LA, but in New York, I had a better time just kind of embracing who I was and allowing myself to, experiment with my look more. Like, I don't feel like I really had that room in LA, but in New York, there's so many different types of people in New York. I felt like I could experiment more, and the market in New York favors people who experiment with their look.
Yes, it is.
They don't want cookie cutter commercial looking models. So I had a better time here. I think New York is a better market for me modeling wise, but I'm open to trying LA again.
Okay. Now, so you said something very important there that you said, the cookie cutter stuff, like, as far as like what they wanted people to look like back then, and, how some of the Black models, depending on skin color, would be pushed forward. How does that affect you, like, as saying, like, or you could tell, like, either younger Black girls, how does that affect your confidence, and how do you just push forward that and keep going and pursuing what you're doing and just staying confident in yourself and the skin you're in and knowing that you're beautiful no matter what complexion you are?
So I've always been like a bit rebellious. And so if I notice that there is a trend going on, something in me is just like, go against that. So like
I feel you on it. Look, that's why I don't like for people to give me like any movies or anything like that. Don't give me no reviews and hype it up. Because automatically if I walk into it with expectations, I'm shooting it down.
Exactly.
So I feel you on it.
Everybody's over it. I gotta listen when everybody's quiet. Like
I feel you,
definitely the same way.
Yeah.
So in terms of like, my look and being darker skinned or maybe being a little different, nowadays, like not being thick or, just having like a regular body.
Yeah.
It kind of, I can't help it, I guess. I can't help but stand up for myself because I had to all throughout school. So I got used to being different, I guess. And I don't know, I think that's where I just kind of live. I'm just kind of like comfortable having at least like something that's different.
Yes.
So like, you see my hair is long right now. I have bundles. I'm like, I have refused to straighten it because I feel like I would just look too on the nose. You know what I mean?
I got you. I know exactly what you're saying. Hey, but I like that.
So my confidence comes from being rebellious, basically.
Yeah. Hey, I like that. And we all need that because in this world, walking around in this skin, man, you're gonna get a lot of no's, you're gonna get a lot of looks, and you're gonna get rooms that they feel like you don't supposed to belong in. But we most of the time be overqualified. We push the envelope. I always tell people our culture pushes the envelope with everything. If you look at all the marketing, all the songs that's behind it, whether like you say Chevy or any of the main brands, they don't promote it with mostly any other genre but R&B and hip hop. When it comes to a commercial, movie cuts or movie credits and stuff like that, it's all our music. So it's just amazing to hear just stories of people kind of behind the curtain of how they, of just your story on how you, you know, go through what we see from the outside, what we know, but just seeing somebody that actually gone through it, it's just interesting to touch on. But as far as like you say, go ahead.
No, I said I feel like I'm burning something. Hold on.
Oh, you multitasking. You cooking tonight too.
I am multitasking. Yeah. All right.
So, back when you said you you know, you started music and you did your own songwriting, like, who were some of your early on inspirations as far as like musicians? Did you have anybody you looked to, maybe either from your country or over here, or who were some of your early on inspirations?
My earliest inspiration was Monica, actually.
Wow. Okay.
I remember I was so young when Don't Take It Personal came out. But I do remember the song and video. I don't even think I was in the States yet, but I remember the song and video. And I was like, I don't know. I just remember feeling something and just feeling like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Monica, Mariah Carey, Aaliyah, Coco from SWV, Missy, those are my earliest, like, obsessions. Yeah. You know?
I see you named a lot of vocalists too. Those are not just entertainers. Yeah. Those are vocalists. And I wanted to tell you that because that's one of the things when I noticed about you when I first started listening to you is your range and how you could, you know, cross over from just it almost seemingly like genres, but it would still be soulful. You had that soulful, sensual sound, but it would be something totally different from what you just got from a song before. And I'm like, wow, her range is amazing. So,
you know, I appreciate you saying that because sometimes I feel like my desire to jump genres and to experiment with my voice and, you know, like experiment with different types of beats, like I feel like it's a bit it's almost like it's a burden a little bit that I don't make the same song over and over and over and over and over again. But I appreciate you saying that because I'm like, I don't know how it's resonant. Because I've only talked to industry people about like, okay, what do you think about this and submissions and all that kind of stuff. And so, of course, they're just like, I mean, I would like to see more consistency, you know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah. So I appreciate the fact that you're like, that you like that I jump genres and I experiment and I, you know. I appreciate that.
Hey, I listen like I told you. I did this. So I did my mom. I come from a family full of musicians and singers myself. So I listen to music with a different ear. I just don't really just go in hey, I want to hear if I like it or not. I want to hear like the words. I want to hear the how it's put together. I want to hear the composition. You know, everything.
You want to feel it. You want to really feel it.
I want to feel it. And that's what I noticed about you when I was listening to like songs like Renegade, Clingy, Ammunition, 6 in the Morning. Like just the feeling like that you give off on camera and just the visuals. I'm like, this is the total package. This is what you're looking for when you're promoting songs or when you're putting out a project. This is the type of energy you're looking for. So I just wanted to compliment you on that and just tell you like your range is amazing. That's what blew me away the first few times. But I love that.
So much.
Now you say now you're on the left coast. Well, you're in the Big Apple. How is that? I know it's more like of a melting pot out there. Now we talk about LA and the hub they are for movies and stuff like that, but you talk about Times Square and the lights out there in New York. That's a whole different animal. But I know it's more of a melting pot as far as people coming in. So you know, like cultural things like that might be a little more friendly. But how is life in the Big Apple for you?
My first year here was really hard, mainly because my mom was going through cancer, so I had a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
From Atlanta to, you know, back to New York. So my first year was really hard. And then plus I didn't realize how expensive New York was. So that coupled with constantly having to fly first year, don't even remember it. Yeah. But when I finally got settled, I really like it. There's a consistent authenticity in New York that I don't really know how to explain. Because it's not like I'm saying there are no fake people in New York.
Yeah.
I just mean, overall, there is a sense of individuality in New York that I really appreciate. And it forces me to constantly look at myself. you know?
Gotcha.
And so I've really found a home here because I can embrace all versions of myself, you know?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Now, when you say you did the modeling and stuff too, like when you model, is it just stuff that like just free walking model, or do you have designers that you go to? Because if you're doing modeling, you kind of cross over into fashion too. So who are some of your fashion inspirations? Do you have certain designers that you lean to when you model, or how do you go about your modeling career?
Yes. So I mainly do commercial because I'm short. So I'm like, well, 5'7.5", but that's short for fashion.
For model, okay.
So I mainly do commercial, you know, beauty, lots of makeup, hair care, skincare, all that kind of stuff. Is like my sweet. That's what I get booked for the most.
Gotcha.
But in terms of designers, ooh, I love Terry Mugler. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The silhouette is consistent.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Okay.
And my mom's been buying, he has a perfume called Angel. My mom's been buying it since I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even realize that was the same designer until I really started to study fashion and study the different fashion houses and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's the only designer that I really have found myself consistently loving. I'm more interested in the younger designers, like and what they see for the body and what their vision is for the future of fashion. I want to see where that goes. Like I'm not because we just talked about it, being rebellious. If something has been too hyped up, I'm no longer interested. So like the fashion houses that have made it, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as interested because it's just like, I don't know, something about it makes me feel like I'm following something. You know what I mean?
Now look, this is a very expensive time for fashion though, because fashion right now is pushing the envelope probably more than any time I've ever seen in history. And there's some styles I sit back like you said, rebellious. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be that rebellious. But what do you think about fashion overall right now? You think it's in a good place? You like where fashion going with pushing the envelope?
I think it's in a good place. I think, especially with me living in New York, I see it's almost normalized. Yeah, it's like normalized to me. I mean,
people walk around in performance type clothes.
People with with wings or something on, or they got like a 10-foot hat.
That's a different animal out there.
Not like that or nothing, but different combinations where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to put that together. Like I think I was watching something the other day where a guy had like tailored his pants to be a shirt, and I was like, I actually would have never thought about that.
Yeah,
I guess he liked the way the pants looked, but he was like, this would look better as a shirt. I know it sounds crazy, but
yeah, like, I gotta see that one, dude. I gotta see that one. The pants into a shirt.
If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, I gotta see that one.
It's a show on YouTube called What Are People Wearing in New York? So if I find it, I will send it to you, because I was like, that is really interesting. It was another person that remixed their UPS uniform. So New York really,
they push
really, they take what they already are and they just, they up it.
Yeah.
If they're into fashion. So, I like where fashion is. I like where we are right now because in fashion and music, we're really open to all different kinds of genres and decades and everything. You can see someone wearing something that looks like it's from the 70s and it's normalized. You see someone wearing something like it looks like it's from the early 2000s, it's normalized. You know what I mean? So I actually really like that about fashion right now.
Like you're not out of place anymore.
Fashion and music right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can fit in, you can walk in and just be yourself. You're not necessarily
old school because you're wearing something or you're doing a certain type of music,
Yeah. I got a 2-part question for you. Speaking of music, being that you're somebody in the music industry from London and stuff like that. Now, you see everything that's going on with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. You see something happen to one of Drake's spots in London and stuff like that. That's the first part. I want your opinion on that. Just tell me what you think about that. And what do you think about our culture starting to have a bigger presence in the country music side of the industry? So just real quick, just what you think about the Drake and the Kendrick Lamar beef, and because it's crossing, it's going international now, because these guys are huge artists in the game. So no matter what they do, is going to leave a big thumbprint in the game. So what you think about that, and then just kind of tell me what you think about like Beyonce, K Michelle, people just crossing over into the countryside of the music industry.
So starting with Drake and Kendrick, I think that it's great for hip hop, because I think hip hop is losing its lyricism for a moment.
I like that, Demi. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think regardless of if it's a real, I still have my questions on whether it's a real beef or not.
I said the same thing.
Just because,
I said the same thing. It seemed too calculated.
At this point, you're like, exactly. But either way, it's like a reminder of what rap music and hip hop, the lyricism of it,
Yep.
That's what I can appreciate about what's going on with them too. I hope it's not as, deadly as Biggie and Tupac.
Man, I pray that.
I hope it doesn't turn into that, because it's never that serious.
Never that serious.
Never that serious. But y'all men with the egos.
Look,
something can be said that's just not supposed to be touched, and all of a sudden.
Look, let me tell you, because I talked to my wife about this. This is a conversation we had, because I said, I was with you on the same page. I'm like, from hip hop is coming from a good place, because that's what we were built on. We were built on battling, braggadocious, this what I do, this what you do. But when you cross those lines of talking about women, kids, parents, stuff like that these guys are attached to, and it's for the world to consume, guys get emotional. And like you say, those egos, no matter how tough we act, once that ego gets bruised, this when you see the acting out. And it might have went from play fighting, like we had this thing back in the day, we used to do, slap box playing. But if too many girls around and you get hit and you laugh and people, now all of a sudden it's a real fight. So it could have started off, like you say, we just gonna, get some numbers up. We're gonna run our numbers up and get some money. But now you starting to talk about stuff. Now you done struck a real nerve.
Yeah.
And the fans that consume it don't know how to separate commercial from real life. They want
They really don't.
There you go.
And I have to remind myself of that. Like,
there you go.
The general population of listeners are not separating. They're not looking at these artists like they're business people. They're looking at these artists like they're everything they're saying is 100.
Is 100.
So that part does concern me, especially the younger population of listeners. They're not thinking, oh yeah, well, if he does that, then he's gonna, be up 10 points on his next out. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. And that's what I told people. Like, people don't understand these guys. When you say Drake, Kendrick Lamar, I know Rick Ross, he take his little shots here and there and jump in and out. And J. Cole, I know it was initially with him in it, but when you say these names, these aren't your mom and pop rappers. These are brands. So these guys aren't coming to look for nothing to shut their brand down. So, but when guys like you say that want stripes, or hey, I'm a Kendrick fan, you online arguing with somebody all day with somebody that won't send you a Christmas card, and I'm like, y'all gotta be able to separate this. Y'all gotta stop celebrating these celebrities like they're gods. Or like, these people are human. They got families to go home. They gonna sleep at night while you on Twitter or Instagram arguing and writing paragraphs under posts about why they the best. So.
Yeah.
So it's just wild to see. I was glad to hear your opinion on that, but because I love hip hop from that competitive standpoint, but I wanted it to stay on wax. I wanted it because it was like, I'm like you.
Yeah.
I feel like Lupe Fiasco and guys like that, they stopped making music because they like, okay, well, if this what the crowd into, if this what the masses into,
what are you supposed to do at that point if that's not what you made?
Exactly. Exactly. And I can't really put a turning point. I got some ideas. I can give you a few names. I'm not gonna do it tonight. I got some ideas where the turning point went when social media, like from the MySpace era to where it really like everybody can make music. I got some ideas, but I'll say that for another day because I want to get into your country answer. So what you feel about us jumping into the country genre?
So.
And not really jumping in. Let me say that because we were one of the ones at the forefront of that.
Because that's exactly what and let's cheers to that because that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Facts.
It ain't never jumping in when it comes to white people. And I love that you just said that because, so for me, I experiment with house music and dance music a lot.
I noticed that.
Now, when I first started doing it, even when I first moved to New York, a lot of the gigs that I was trying to get, they were almost like, no, there's no way that you do dance music. It's got to be like R&B, right? This is an R&B night that you're trying to, like, no, I legitimately do dance music, like, legitimately.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And to the point where I started to feel like, am I whitewashed for doing dance music? No, you're not. Dance music comes from house music. House music comes from disco. Disco is black. Like, it is what it is. So I feel the same way about country.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't care whether you're Elvis, James, all the music is gonna stem back to this complexion.
Yeah. I would even argue, maybe this is a controversial take, but I would even argue, because my dad liked country music, and I would even argue that, like, in Nigeria, that's almost like Nigeria's R&B is like country music.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a very natural progression. What I loved about Beyonce releasing a country album is the people that know that Beyonce doesn't need their streams started to look for other black country artists. Like, I thought that was really beautiful.
That was.
You know, even me too. I was like, starting to look for others, because there has to be others. You know?
I just found this guy. I don't want to say his name because I forgot it. My wife put me on to him, but he got Wix. He a country singer. I forget his name, but she sent me a couple links of shorts from TikTok, and I started following him. I'm like, see this. You cannot duplicate our soul, no matter how much you try to take our music, whitewash it, or do like that soul that we put in music. Like, you can't duplicate that. So any genre, when we put our twist to it, it's just gonna have that different feel to it. It's gonna have that little extra.
Yeah. So I really like it. I think it's a step in the right direction of just allowing black culture to expand. And to embrace all the different types of black that we are. You know, I think that's important. And I think that's important for artists to kind of take the lead on. You know, we don't need to be in office. We don't need to be there.
Gotcha.
We need to be in spaces like that where it's moving culture forward.
Gotcha.
You know?
So let me ask you this. Now, like today, we kind of talked before you came on. We were just kind of chopping it up. Had a busy day. So what's your safe space? Like, when it comes to, like, when you get away, like, does it come in a form of, like, recording, or is it performing live, or is it just when you get home, you make you a meal, wind down with a glass of wine? Like, what do you do to kind of break away from, like, just the hustle and bustle of all the business they go? Because people don't know, like I said, like, we did this back in the day too, so I know the business side. People don't know that all they see is the finishing product. They see the game. Like you said, you play ball, so you know. They don't see practice. They don't see what's going on behind the scenes. So how do you break away from all the behind the scenes stuff and just get back to Demi and just take it all in and just relax and just break away from it?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out, like, where my piece is, because I'm kind of coming out of burnout a bit. Of, like, industry burnout and music business burnout. But the simplest thing, like, I really love beautifying my home. Like you mentioned, okay, you get in the kitchen, you pour yourself a glass of wine, you cook something random or maybe something planned, doesn't matter, you know, and you just kind of chill. That is, like, my all-time favorite thing to do.
Okay.
You know, and you light a little candle and you just chill and just sit and just be, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I really enjoy doing that. I really love doing my hair too.
Okay.
So, like, it's really distracting to do my hair because the hairstyles that I like, they usually take a lot of time. Like, you know, if I want to do goddess braids, or I want to do locks, or if I want to, like, you know, sew my hair in or whatever, that takes time and it takes care and effort. Especially if you want your natural hair to be healthy, it does take time.
So you're your own stylist?
Yeah.
We getting all the behind the scenes goodies tonight. Look at this.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, you said your sister is she's an actor. Now, I know you're in front of the camera a lot. Have you ever considered acting? Or have you ever done any projects acting?
I didn't. I did in LA. So when modeling was kind of like, I was doing a lot of music videos, and I was kind of like dipping my toe into acting. But then, as you know, mom got sick, had to move, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely planning my my intro back into acting.
Okay.
As we speak. So
okay.
I'll keep you posted on what that's going to look like.
So I can't get in no more behind the scenes tidbits tonight.
No.
I can't get I'll leave it there. So we're gonna talk about. We're gonna wrap it up like this. We're gonna talk about what you can talk about. What you got? Any tours coming up soon, or anything like that going on? Have you been touring lately, or is it just strictly recording right now, kind of gearing up for something, or what's that process like right now? Where you at with that?
I actually have a ton of music that I'm going to release this year. I have a single coming up on May 30th. It's going to be released.
Okay.
It's called Limitless.
Okay. That was one of my favorite movies. I like that already. I don't know if you remember Limitless.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so this year the focus is gonna just be expanding my catalog and putting more music out there in a more consistent way, because I have been a bit scattered with releases in the past, and I want to give myself a chance to release consistently. So,
gotcha.
Releasing music is my focus. As far as shows go, I'm being very selective with the shows that I do this year, the type of shows that I do, what they stand for. Like right now I'm working on a benefit concert, which I can't talk about, but I want to do more stuff like that, because a lot of people don't know that when you're not a Beyonce or the like, these festivals are a little bit better, if you kind of know how to move, but a lot of these shows are kind of there to use you without much in return.
Gotcha.
And there just comes a time, at a point in your career, yes, absolutely do it, because you need the experience.
Yeah.
And you need to know what it feels like to be up there. You need, you need
just go through the process.
Exactly. But at a certain point, you're like, I don't know that I need to do this show. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at.
I got you. Like, I'm not a filler anymore. I'm more of a... I'm more of the back end of the show. Yeah, I feel you.
Exactly. So I'm figuring out what my new sweet spot as far as live performances is. I'm definitely a studio rat. I love the studio. I could live in the studio. Like... Okay.
Love that creative process.
I love to experiment with sound. Yeah. I'm much more of a studio
person. That was my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not to say that I can't perform or I don't like to perform. It's just I want to do things that I'm proud of.
Yeah, I feel you. Take pride in your art. Now, you do say you are of Nigerian blood. What do you think about the rapper in Houston from Nigeria? You familiar with Toby? Towobi? How you say his name?
Oh, he's good.
I like his music. I like his visuals too. I love the visuals that y'all give off, because like he does like the matte settings with the all one color and stuff like, and then he be coming with it. And I love H-Town. I'm from Louisiana, so I love H-Town music anyway. And first time somebody seen me, I'm like, okay, who is this cat? You know what I'm saying? He sounded different. And then when I found out, he was, I think, Nigerian blood too, and just his whole swag and how he brought Africa to Houston and merged that, I'm like, okay, I can dig that sound.
I love that. Whenever I see Americanized Nigerians doing their thing and just like proud of it, because I'm very like, I love to experiment with genres, but I'm very R&B, like straight up R&B too. And a lot of people looked at me and was like, well, you should be doing Afro beats, or you should be doing this.
Trying to put you in a box.
And exactly. But so where I would get stuck is I can do those things. Like I can do almost.
I'm talented enough to do that.
Exactly. So it wasn't always a hard no for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I see someone like Toby, I'm like, I'm really proud of that, and it makes me feel like inspired to do my own thing too.
Yeah. And he a former athlete too. Y'all got something brewing over there. I saw he played football, and that kind of branched him off in the music. So y'all got something going over there.
Do your ancestry. You're probably Nigerian too. We everywhere.
Everywhere. The bloodline thick. But before we close out though, because I really appreciate, I know you are a very busy woman, so I really appreciate you taking time to sit down with me tonight. I know you've had a long day. But before we get out of here, is there anything you like to promote, push, tell the people, or just anything else you want to wrap up with before we get up out of here?
Yes. I'm on everything as I Am Demi Grace.
Okay.
Literally on every platform. I have a single coming out on May 30th called Limitless. It's going to be available everywhere.
Go check that out.
What else? Yeah, I think that's honestly those are the two things. Is I'm everywhere as I Am Demi Grace, and new music coming out.
Y'all heard it right from here. We got a lot of exclusive. Y'all gonna really enjoy this interview. We run this back. We got some stuff that I didn't even know, and I've been following her for a while. I didn't know about the athletic part. Didn't know about the LA part. So I'm gonna listen to this one as a fan myself. I'm gonna go back and listen to this one as a true fan and be like, okay, let me listen to what we put out today. But
yeah, I'll send it to you too. I have the private listen link, so I'll send it to you so you can get a little early. You know.
That's what's up. Give me some VIP access. Let me feel like I'm part of the Demi camp. I got the Beehive and you got the Rihanna's name. What's your group? What we gonna call your group? We gotta give your group a name.
The Demi God.
I like that. I'm rolling with that.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with that. So before we wrap up, I just want to let y'all know, man. Yes, she gave you every way you can keep up with it. All the projects that's coming up. Go look for I Am Demi Grace. I appreciate having you on tonight. It was a pleasure chopping it up with you. Love the music. Love every project you're putting out. The visuals. Everything you're doing. I love it. I'm rocking with you. So, y'all know how we ended. Always visualize your goals. And after that, accomplish those visualized goals. 9/11, Demi Grace, we out. Gone.